Hey, I'm Ron Rodos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to our journey through the real book number 169. I'll remember April, and this is the type of jazz piano lesson that I always love to take, and I'm trying to pass along what I learned to you, because it really helps us learn jazz standards in a way that's holistic, not just looking at the notes on the page, but we kind of understand where they're coming from, and we're also getting the kind of understanding of the tune that some of the great musicians that were around in the 40s, 50s, 60s, even earlier, and some more recent that we idolize have. They have this kind of understanding, and it's getting lost. It's getting lost, so that's why we're doing this. So welcome, thanks for being here. And I have 2 points about this. One is just an interesting thing, and it relates to the music. I got a comment. Somebody commented on one of the my other Journey Through the Real Book videos. And basically it was like, stop talking so much. Don't you know if you don't talk so much, you'll get more views? And I thought it was really interesting. You know, first of all, I don't just leave random comments that out of context on people's videos unless I'm kind of in support, you know? Like, why would you do that? It's free. If you don't like the talking, just skip to the piano playing or look at somebody else's videos, right? But maybe the person was trying to do me a favor. But the interesting thing is that every day I get comments and emails from you guys saying that you love the talking, you love to learn this, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm building the best community of viewers and musicians in the world. So thank you. And I'm not going to water down the content or go in a different direction just for more views, whatever that would mean. And I don't think that would help me or you, right? So thanks for being here. That's my rant of the day. But I think it's fascinating because it also relates to the music here. So I'll get to that in a second. I'll Remember April was composed, the copyright says 1941. I saw on the internet 42. Somewhere in there, and then there was a movie, 1945, of the same name. But it's earlier than I thought because I associate it mostly with Clifford Brown and MaxRoach. You know, their hard bop quintet of the, is it quintet? Yes, quintet of the 1950s. And that's the classic version, you know. But yes, I always forget, Charlie Parker did it with Bird with Strings. And if you want to hear how to play a melody and embellish a melody and phrase a melody in your own way, Charlie Parker was one of the best. You know, he got that from the swing era players like Lester Young and Chu Berry, people he listened to in a Count Basie band when he was a teenager, right? It was in the air at that time. How do you play? Not just the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, although that sounds pretty good too, right? And that's really actually where the tune came from. You know, it was like a ballad at the time, like with a 2-beat. That's a lot of fun to play stuff like that, you know? So try that too. That's sort of the kind of music, the version of this that the jazz musicians heard, because it was done by singers. Sinatra did this, a lot of people did it in that lyrical way with strings and everything. And then the Parker with strings version, Charlie Parker with his string group, kind of did in the middle. They had that beautiful lyricism, the nice beat behind it, the strings, and then Parker played it lyrically, but he added a lot of jazzy kind of jazz notes, bebop phrases and everything, but still, he was using that sort of singer's lyrical version as a reference, and he brought it to here. And then Clifford Brown and MaxRoach, and probably others at the time, brought it much farther into the realm of jazz. The famous intro, it's in the key of G. The famous intro is to superimpose part of an A chord over G. So you have A and C sharp, major third down to the G and B. Ritchie Powell on piano, Bud Powell's brother in the MaxRoach Clifford Brown group. So that version's wonderful. Listen to it. It starts out with classic MaxRoach, sort of a Latin beat on the tom-toms, and then the bass comes in, and then that bitonality, 2 tonalities at once. It's A over G. Also has like a Lydian feel, G major with the raised 4th. So this is how it ties to that YouTube comment. Do we do that intro, which is great, and I've played countless gigs and jam sessions where I've played that intro. It sounds great. People like it. Musicians like it. They know where we're at, right? They know what the intro is if they hear that. Audiences like it. But then, or you do your own thing, right? And what are you ultimately trying to do? I think you have to learn what everybody else did, or at least a few other people, and then do your own thing. I heard a great Wayne Shorter quote on the internet recently. It was an interview he was doing. It was a discussion with Herbie Hancock, sort of via Zoom from their houses, from their homes. Herbie Hancock, Terence Blanchard, Branford Marsalis, and Wayne Shorter. And Wayne said, he was actually quoting a friend of his who he didn't mention, but he said that young musicians these days don't know how to steal from themselves. I thought that was interesting. So he meant, it took me a while, but it means that I think that we often don't dig down and play what we want to play, you know? Or take something from something else we've done and do it on this tune. We don't trust that. That's the path, right? But Wayne himself studied all the other musicians when he was coming up. When he joined the Miles Davis group, he already knew all the harmony parts, he said, because he had been playing along with the records, you know? So we have to study, but I think the key is at an earlier stage than we often do. We have to start making it our own. So, what could I do? Well, maybe instead of going, maybe I change the, sort of play one note at a time. Let's see. You know, or maybe I go from G to A, then up to B. Superimpose all those different keys over the G chord, you know? Reminds me of some 20th century classical music by like Darius Milhaud, the French composer who taught Dave Brubeck how to do that. All ties together, right? So I'm going to trust that. I'm going to keep doing what my style is, but knowing what came before, and that's what I hope you do too. And maybe I'll go to that in the middle. I don't know. I'm going to start out rubato though, and kind of go back to the original intention of the tune, you know, as a ballad, you know. Just find some nice chords, maybe modal, and then go into some bebop, hard bop, jazz, swing. Not sure. See where it takes me, like always, and thanks for being here. Yeah, you know, it's what I mentioned before, that bitonality. Superimposing like an A, even a whole A scale over the G. Or B. Sort of gives it a little heightened feeling like, oh, something exciting's happening here. And it all comes back from that intro I talked about before. So yeah, just to recap, learn the different styles. Listen to Keith Jarrett recorded this. I didn't mention that before. Again, Sonny Rollins, he was in the Clifford Brown band. Clifford Brown, MaxRoach, Ritchie Powell on piano, Sonny Rollins on sax. Very interesting Sonny Rollins solo because for the first chorus he plays slow. So the rest of the band's, you know, swing, and he's going, you know, playing these slow lines, which we never do, right? So you can take that, learn how to do that, and do it in your own way. Follow Wayne Shorter's advice. Make it your own. Take from yourself and bring it to the tune. Thanks for being here. If you're interested in Zoom or Skype lessons, love to help you out, or my video course at keyboardimprov.com. And good luck with your own playing. That's the main thing.